Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns, and this is one of my first official Q&A answer videos. You can hear some screaming in the background. That's why I'm here and not shooting this video over by my pool. It's summertime, it's sunny out, the kids are over, there's some friends over, so it's not going to happen over there. So I thought I'd shoot this a little different. I didn't really need to be static, standing around in one spot. So I figured I'd just kind of walk around, answer these questions. By the way, that's my latest project. That's sort of a pool heater. 800 feet of hosing there that pumps hot water into the pool as the sun heats it. Kind of cool. Keeps the kids a little warmer anyways. So I've got some questions. I'm going to walk around here and try and answer them. A few questions here I'm going to do my best to answer. So 1969 Triumph. He says, I find your videos or your vids very informative. One quick question. All of the pistols I have are all close copies of real guns, PPK, 1911, etc. What I would really like to know is a Western 6-shooter, or what I would really like now is a Western 6-shooter. Are there any in the pipeline? Thanks, Paul. So, Paul's asking, what about the 6-shooters? What about the classic Colt 45s, right? Those, the single, I just fell in a pothole. Single action army type style, right? Crossman used to make them, and people still will pay pretty good money for good quality ones that are, that are in good condition. I've got a few that are in okay condition. They're kind of neat to have. They're not exact replicas, but they're pretty close. With today's cool technologies and the loading shells like the Dan Wessons and all these guns like the Colt Python, all that sort of style that's coming out now, someone could make a single action army pistol. It would be awesome. So I'm out, and I don't know why. I honestly don't know why nobody's not, like Umrex, Crossman, whoever, Daisy, they're not doing it anymore. So, I mean, it's really unfortunate. I think that if someone made one, that there would be a huge market for them, because people are starting to buy these guns. They're starting to buy, a lot of the old classic guns, the old Army guns, the Lugers, the P38s, all that kind of stuff, the old Makarovs. People want those sort of legendary guns, and the single action army, I mean, how legendary can you get? So, and by the way, I'll show you some stuff that I'm doing here. Right there, you can see a tube coming out of the ground. I spent my weekend, you can see here, putting in drainage. We had a drainage problem over here. Right in this area was just saturated in water throughout the winter and spring, and it will get wet in the fall. So we thought we'd throw some more drainage in. I got to shovel dirt and gravel all weekend, so that was fun. Anyways, the next question. Switch arms here. Okay. Get into the spinny spin here. I'm just going to keep walking around. We got another question from Kevin Men. And he says, or he asks, will you be selling the Kalashnikov AK47 CO2 BB gun? I heard it was made of real AK47 parts, and it might be banned in the US. Do you think the gun will be for sale ever again? The reason I bring this one up is because I went through a huge ordeal. We're going back about 2 years. I can't even remember, 2-3 years now. Used to sell, I'm not sure if it was a cyber gun. It was basically a Chinese unbranded gun, AK-47 BB gun. Had some real parts in it, it was definitely made to not be converted into a real AK-47. A lot of it was from a real receiver, and that was the problem. But it was like parts were filed down, things were chopped off. It was just not, you'd have to be an incredible gunsmith with a lot of tools to make it into a working AK-47 again. And unfortunately, the police thought that people were converting these things into real guns and raided everybody who was selling them across Canada, thinking that we were like trying to do crazy stuff with them. And so this might be a bit of a long story, so I'll try and make it short. So long story short, got arrested in front of my kids, handcuffs. SWAT team entered my house, took everything, hard drives, Wi-Fi stuff, all my computers, all my everything, drives, thumb drives, took everything for literally a month, just shut down my business, all to find out that I was legally buying them from an importer. I wasn't importing them or anything, and just selling them. And these people brought these guns in through the Canada Customs, through CBSA, legally all imported. So if anyone was to blame, it was CBSA for allowing them into Canada. And this sting operation that the RCMP had, probably costing, I wouldn't doubt if it cost $1 million, because they raided like multiple, like not just 10, like 15 locations across Canada. Get back in the sun. My house had at least 30 police cars out front, a SWAT team, and I would say 50 to 60 officers in my house confiscating stuff. Like, is that overkill? Perhaps. Anyway, so I don't want to deal with any AK47 BB guns ever again. So we'll deal with, you know, maybe some airsoft stuff that's not so realistic. And that's why I don't really have too many of them, especially in the BB versions on my website. Okay, wind and wood. When is the KWC Luger P08 45 or 4.5 BB version going to be for sale in the US, in your US store? So anything to do with KWC in the US is on hold. We're just trying to get them in. We've basically got a warehouse location there that we're trying to get these guns to, because not very many people have them in the US, and we're trying to get some of our Canadian ones over there. That's what we're trying to do. And it's just been a little more complicated than we thought. Just, you know, we're talking Canada and US customs and importation. It's just, you know, it can be a little trying at times. So we're doing our best, and I don't honestly know what we're going to be able to do. You know, some things aren't always definite, right? Oh, rabbit just ran over there. There's a rabbit in the bush. Kind of cool. All right, Night Rider. Hey, I found on a store two types of CO2 cartridges for a BB gun, and I want to know if I can use bought in the same gun. If I can use bought in the same gun. One CO2 cartridge has lubrication in it, and another one is just a normal cartridge. So what he's trying to say here is, can he use the lubricated CO2 and the non-lubricated CO2 in the same gun? Absolutely. The whole point of the lubricated CO2 is it's got like a Pelgan oil built into it, and it's basically designed to, you know, to work its way through. It's got a little bit of lubrication and just lubricate the seals and the internal parts and keep the gun maintained. So it's a good idea to actually either use Pelgan oil or like lubricated CO2 at least once in a while. All right, guys, switch arms. It's getting tired. All right, working our way back. LOL Fail Blogger. Will you get the pellet version of the Dan Wesson revolver available for purchase in the Canada store? We definitely hope so. We have a great relationship with ASG. You know, whenever I go down to the SHOT Show, I talk to them directly, and I showed you the gun, and the plan is to have it. I guess it was supposed to be in spring. It's maybe a little later than expected, but you know, as soon as ASG has it available, so that we can purchase it, we will get it on the next ASG order and have it available for you guys. So that is definitely the plan. All right, so let's keep walking around here. And one more thing here from this is kind of fun, but the question does come up. E-Link Trick Tears. So it's E-Link Trick Tears. Interesting YouTube name. When are you going to make a How to Get Buff channel? So periodically, you know, I like to wear the tank tops in the summertime, and I like to stay in shape. And over the past several years, I've put on a little bit of muscle working out. You know, when am I going to make a buff channel? Well, guess what? I already have one. I just don't really talk about it too much on this channel because it's Airgun related. But I have a YouTube channel called Get Fit Over 40 with the numeric 40. So it's not 4T, it's 40, the number. So getfitover40.com, and my YouTube name is Get Fit Over 40 with the number 40 as well. So you can check that out. And I basically talk about fitness over 40. Although, like, I'm a little bit more extreme than most 40-year-olds, and I do a lot of stuff that, you know, a lot of young people don't even do. So it's really a channel for everybody, but I'm just sort of trying to show people over 40 that, you know, you can, age is not necessarily a barrier, that, you know, you can be fit at just about any age. You just have to modify your fitness slightly for, you know, considerations of age-related things. Like for me, I have knee problems, I got wrist problems if I overdo it. If I overdo it, my knees, you know, I've got all kinds of things. I'm tearing stuff all the time. Learning what my limitations are at this age. I'm not as resilient as a 20-year-old, and I can't always do everything a 20-year-old does. And you have to take that into account. But that said, you know, I work out 6 days a week. I train hard. I do CrossFit. I do a lot of weightlifting. I wouldn't say powerlifting, but in CrossFit we do powerlifting, squats, deadlifts, all those things. You just got to work within your limitations. So check out that channel, getfitover40.com, YouTube name getfitover40. And, you know, people will comment on the veins and stuff, and, you know, I've even had people say, oh, you must be doing steroids and stuff. Veins aren't a sign of steroids. Veins are a sign of being lean and not having a lot of body fat. That's all it is, and some of it's genetic. Some people are veinier than others. I've been veiny since I was a kid. And as long as I'm lean, they just, you know, relatively lean, they just show. So anyways, I think there was one more thing I just wanted to talk quickly about. Gun repair questions. Okay, so People will ask me, they'll say, my gun, the trigger isn't functioning, the hammer won't stay back, you know, there's BBs falling out of this and that, and all these questions. And you know, I don't mind you asking a question like that, because there are some of these questions that, hey, I've seen that exact situation and I might know the answer, but you know, 9 times out of 10 I don't know the answer, right? The answer is, you know, who knows? You need to actually have someone physically look at the gun, maybe pull it apart and take a look inside. How do you do that over the internet? It's like trying to perform brain surgery through the comment section on YouTube, right? You just can't do it, you know? You can't take apart an engine and repair it over YouTube. So that's the kind of thing that 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to give you an answer unless I have the answer. And you know, and I get tired of saying, hey, listen, I can't answer your question because I'm not there physically to look at your gun. You know, I just could keep saying that over and over again. And so I just basically don't answer those questions unless I think I might have a simple solution. And then if I think I might have it, I'll just pop that in there and hopefully it helps you out. All right, so again, if you have worthy questions, I will answer them on this new questions and answer section of the Replica.com question Q&A, questions and answer. So get your questions in. Again, I don't answer everything because a lot of them, you know, sometimes they've been answered over and over again lots of times already. So just make sure to look through the videos. Definitely check out the Q&A videos for answers to your already existing questions, especially as I make more and more of them. There's going to be more and more answers there for you. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.